Not a real eventful day. The most interesting thing to see was the picking up of a large, unwieldy, and heavy glob of old concrete, or space debris, that was somehow left in or near the bus lane. See the picture. It reminds me of the space object discovered last year with the dumbbell look. The first picture is of the glob in the excavator's jaws. The Komatsu excavator just barely made it down the slope to where the various boulders are stored. The second photo shows progress in the construction of the stormwater vault. More work is needed in installing the forms for the walls. The third is of the Grand Canyon, where footings are being poured most days of the week. This will be the future gymnasium area. When the boom from Ralph's concrete pumping is there, it means a big pour, in this case for the footings in the Grand Canyon. The first photo shows 3 cement mixers dumping into a hopper. The fluid concrete is then pumped out through the hose and plops into the forms. This continued all morning. The second photo is of an insignificant slide of boulders onto one of the infrequently used roads. The third picture is where the morning pour took place. The concrete has set sufficiently to where it can be walked on. The last photo shows the area near the main entrance. Dirt and gravel have been added to raise the ground level to its designed elevation. In the lower right corner of the photo are the tensioning strand anchor cables laid out after being unrolled from their coiled packaging. You have to zoom in to see them. I am blessed with a son-in-law who is a retired concrete foreman. I send him the same as I send you. He has provided us with a detailed description of what was going on in part of the Grand Canyon photo. This photo here is the upper left corner of the first photo. He says, person number 1 is who we call the hose man, obviously because he is hanging on to the hose and directing where the concrete is being placed. Moving on, person number 2 is the stinger or vibrator man. He's holding a vibrator about 2 inches in diameter and with the head about 2 feet long. Person number 3 is the tail man. He is on the vibrator switch and makes sure the vibrator cords don't get hung up on rebar or become unplugged. He's also waiting for the on-off cue from the stinger man, as a switch is usually located near the tail man. Person number 4 is the Ralph's employee. His job is to operate the pump truck with a close eye on the hose man and reading the signals from the husband as to which direction to operate the pump. Didn't I just do this? Both photos show progress. You can quickly see the added forms for walls or foundation in the first photo, the Grand Canyon. A blue cherry picker has been added to the equipment list as of a couple days ago. Look in the lower left corner. The second photo shows more height to the 6 walls, but I don't see any depth. Does that mean gunite or similar? The panels are all used, and if gunite were used in the previous job, the panels would not be available for reuse. I'm in pretty deep here. The walls look like they are at 17 foot per the plans. All the workmen hid just before I took this, so there is no scale. There was more pouring in the classroom area. They seemed to be improving the road on the east side of the field. In doing that, a cat excavator encountered a large boulder, which was later added to the boulder graveyard. I wonder how small a boulder can be and still be an erratic. The photo shows the boulder pile being added to. Not as much going on this weekend. The road on the far east side of the field is being widened. Some of the extra dirt is dumped into the old pond. The circled area on the photo shows work being done on the forms for an east-west foundation wall. The tall crane was used to remove other forms on another part of the classroom area foundation. Ever since building Timber Ridge Phase 2, it has been well known that there is a lot of stormwater that flows down the hill, or the mountain, and it wants to go in the direction of Timber Ridge Phase 2. Remember the water dripping from the basement B garage ceiling? Sunday was the kind of day when puddles dry up, but they are not doing that here in this photo, or they are sure slow at drying up. And look at puddle 6 on the sidewalk. Seems like that never dries up either. There are a couple of bridges up the hill from here. I wonder if they go over water like most bridges do. This Monday morning work started with a big meeting near the entrance, about 50 workers. They may have been talking about how to stay hydrated on a 90+ degree day. Another poor day. This time the boom said, "Go dogs." After a couple of hours, he went away. There was a dump truck exchange, 1 for 1. 2 new Baker tanks were brought in, as the old pond is being filled with dirt. I believe these will be the insurance that any stormwater has a place to collect. As you remember, at one time there were 4 Baker tanks being used. Saw the first use of gunite or shotcrete on one of the retaining walls right below us. With shotcrete, this is where the somewhat more liquid concrete is dumped from the delivery truck into a hopper and then pressure pumped into the hose and onto the application area, where it is shot out of the hose onto the somewhat vertical wall. This works because a wire mesh, plus other stuff, on the wall helps to get the concrete to cling to the wall. Gunite is similar, but the water and dry concrete are mixed at the last moment before application. And last item of interest, modesty panels have been placed around the porta potties. The first photo shows that access to most of the site has been restored to where it was before through the middle of the classroom's building. This photo of the new ramp shows it going over the retaining wall. It was taken before completion later this afternoon. The second photo shows that the pond is almost gone, going with each dump truck dump of dirt. One of the 2 Baker tanks that were brought in recently is indicated by the small arrow. The tank trailers are to perform the function of the vault to catch and hold stormwater before it can go directly into Tibbetts Creek, first into the holding pond across Tallis Drive. When the vault is completed, they will go away. Most of the time, well, more than half the time, I can guess what's going on. Not today. In the first photo, on the east side of the property, a deeper road was dug yesterday. A low boarded wall is being constructed on the border, and tar paper and white pipes are being buried. But why? Maybe something to do with containing stormwater runoff? The soil mech crane was removed today. It's been sitting there, not being used. Along the west wall, in the future bus lanes, a long row of strange 6-foot holes have been dug. See the second photo. In this time of COVID-19, several macabre jokes could be made of this. I won't attempt any. A moonscape has been successfully carved into the extreme southwest corner. See the last photo. Excavators Komatsu and Hitachi had their fun. I'm having fun too. Many years ago, when I was a young second lieutenant, I learned something about the newspaper media. There will always be headlines. No matter if nothing at all happened that day, there will still be a headline about some small event that would normally never deserve a headline. There's much more to that story, maybe some other time. Nothing happened on the construction site today that deserved a headline. However, the first photo shows where the pond used to be. The headline could be, "Pond? What pond?" As I think I said before, if it rains much this summer, the 2 blue Baker tanks, plus the 4 dark blue filter units, will have to do what the pond used to do: hold back the rainwater coming down the hill. When the great big concrete wall is poured and completed, it will do the job. The line of graves, 2 votes for graves, is still a mystery. One good idea is that a concrete base for light standards will go there, but there are so many so close together. They got the concrete treatment this afternoon. A large load of bright green or turquoise pipe arrived on site this morning. I guess that it is for the collection of stormwater from all over the school property. The bright green color is to make it easier to find should it ever have to be dug up. Just a guess. If you scan the supply area or the yard, you will see lots of plumbing parts that go with the stormwater collection function, such as drains and drain covers. Lots of them. It looks like some other pipe is being laid on the Tallis Drive side perimeter road today and yesterday. The other picture shows a machine for mixing and pumping grout or shotcrete, in this case to where we can't see it, but somewhere in the retaining wall for the car lanes. Also, you see the surveyor. He had just taken a reading off our balcony and is pointing it the theodolite, towards Madeline's balcony. The old pond was covered by more dirt today. And an added note from Werner. Several weeks ago, I got a call from resident Patty Fuqua. She asked if I would be interested in having her grandson, Nicholas, come with his drone and take pictures of the middle school construction. I eagerly agreed. Nick came out today at about 5 p.m. and showed us how his drone worked. It's a beauty. He spent about a half hour flying back and forth over the site and got some great photos and even a video. The title shot for this documentary video is one of his photos. The video is amazing. Enjoy.